say. We'll get going and I'll share my screen. So welcome everybody to tonight's Animal and Emotions webinar. I'm Cindy Myers, and if you'd like more information about my services and me in general, you can check out my website, yourenergyhealer.com. And with that, we'll get going with tonight's topic. I thought, I don't know about y'all, but it's hot. It's summer. And I noticed with my pets, um, they've just been a lot more lethargic like me, but not just with that because it's so hot, we really have to curtail our outside activities. One, I can't handle being out more than I already am with having a farm and having to take tend to all the animals that just their basic needs. So adding in a whole lot of extra time playing is not happening. So we're not burning off as much energy. And this guy that's the picture of Bailey, he's a um, not quite yet 2 year old. I guess he just did turn two. Um, Australian Shepherd, and he has a lot of energy, and so he's not getting his normal exercise. And my big guy, I'm not sure where he's in the house somewhere, but he might be probably behind the couch, one of his favorite sleeping spots. But anyway, Yogi, he's definitely going very slow and spending almost all the time under the house or in the house, under a deck. He knows how to get the shady spots and keep cool. So, but they usually, and when it's cooler, they spend a lot of time playing together. Those two boys, and so they're not getting that playtime. And see, then there's behavioral. Sometimes there's a little behavioral stuff that pops up, or they just get bored, and so there's some challenges with how do we handle that and how. So tonight we're going to talk about how do we handle our pets or what how summer stress and heat can impact it. Plus, a lot of my clients are they've gone on vacation or going on vacation or getting away for weekends, and that can cause stress for our pets, especially if we've been home uh, for 24/7 for the most part, the past year and a half. Uh, and so, if we take off all of a sudden, that causes our pets quite a bit of anxiety. So we can talk about a little bit about what happens when our pets, when we go out of town, and what our pets go through, and how we can help them, and how I can help them too. And then at the end, we're going to talk about. I'll just answer plenty of your questions if you have any, and do some demo readings for your pets. And thank you for those who sent their photos ahead of time. I got them, and we're all set to share your cutie pies while I do readings on them. So with that, we'll go ahead. But before we get going, if your pet is having a medical emergency, which in this heat, we've got to watch for heat issues in them as well as ourselves. So if do have a medical emergency with your pet, please call your veterinarian right away. But what I can do is support your pet energetically. I boost their first chakras, keep remove any trapped emotions and reduce the anxiety. Just keep their energy flowing, and that can help buy us time until your vet can and the traditional medical treatments can take hold, or at least make sure get them examined by a professional. So definitely do that right away if you have a medical emergency. All right, we'll go on. We'll talk about. We can fold in a little bit more about me later. So let's talk about summer and pets because we are definitely well into this summer. Uh, and so this summer, I don't know if it's true for the rest of you, but in Oregon, it's been a very hot summer, and it's been the entire summer. We've barely had any breaks from 90 plus heat, and so it's taking a toll on the pets. Um, they're really experiencing a little more anxiety, a little more um, depression, I would say. They just been a little more down. How do I tell that? Well, they just um, I could tell from their eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul, right? And I do. That is one thing. I really check the eyes of my animals, my alpacas. I like to put my eyeballs on their eyeballs every single day because our pets are are wired uh, in, uh, instinctually to hide it if they're sick. Our cats are very good at hiding when they don't feel good. Our dogs are pretty good at it, and my alpacas are extremely good. And it's important because who who is the one most vulnerable if by predators, right? If they're sick, right? They're the ones that the predator looks for the weakest one, and so they instinctually try and hide if they're not feeling well because they don't want to show that they're vulnerable. And so it can be really, so when you do see them finally sick or not feeling well, they're usually extremely sick and they've been that way for a while, possibly. So, but the one thing that doesn't lie, that they have a harder time to mask that they aren't feeling well, is their eyes. Their eyes will communicate a lot to me. So that is why I like to put my eyeballs on every single animal. And so I can tell my dogs are a little off because their eyes are just kind of a little more half masked. They're not as bright and perky. So that some of it is probably because they're tired of being hot all the time. Um, but I think a lot of it too is they're bored and possibly a little bit depressed because our normal activities aren't happening. Um, so so that is one indicator that there's a little extra stress happening due to heat. Um, so, and then the same is true with the alpacas. I have to watch them, and the cats. They seem to be doing pretty good. They seem to manage the heat okay. Uh, they seem to be, for my guys, at least they're barn cats. They seem to be, I don't notice anything different because their life is pretty much the same. It hasn't impacted them as much. They're more nocturnal anyway, and it's cooler at night, so they can bebop around all night long. So they're still doing kind of their normal thing. So I'm not noticing as much with my barn cats as I am with the dogs, and my alpacas are definitely more lethargic. They're spending a lot more time in the shade, less time grazing. So I have to watch all that to make sure that they have lots of water, lots of different things. So there's things we can always do, right? When we need to plan and be prepared when the summer hits, and how the heat can, just the heat in itself, or the temperature, the weather can impact our pets and create different kinds of anxiety. So, and what to look for. So again, watch their eyes. That will tell you if somebody needs a little more attention. Um, I look for, again, different body language. Body language is a key thing to look for. So know what is normal. That's why I like to put my eyeballs on their eyeballs every single day, because I don't know what would abnormal look like if I didn't really intentionally look at everybody and say, okay, that looks normal. That looks. So I say good morning to everybody. That's one way for me to make sure I look at their eyes. It's with intention that I say good morning to everybody. I say their name. It takes a while because I have 18 alpacas. 18 alpacas, 3 dogs, and 4 cats. So for me to say good morning to everybody can take a few minutes, but it is an important process. And you know what? They like it. Uh, they actually, I have a couple that get offended if I accidentally miss them and they let me know that I didn't say good morning to them. So, but again, I get to see what's normal. And so when then something isn't right, then I know to either keep an eye on that one to make sure, is it, do they improve throughout the day, or do they stay the same, looking a little off? Do I have to just keep an eye on them? Or do they get worse? Do I need to call a vet? Do I need to start doing some interventions with them? Can I do some energy work on them and see if they perk up? So there's different things that I can do, but I really like to look at their body language and their eyes. So keep an eye keep an eye on what is normal. Keep Do it with intention every single day. And that is one way to tell if your pet is a little extra stressed. But so their body language is going to tell you more than a lot of things. Now, what are some of the other signs if it's just bringing out behavioral issues? Well, they might get destructive. They might have more accidents in the house. They might chew up stuff that they shouldn't be chewing up, right? If they're bored, they'll get that energy out. They'll find activities for themselves. So if we don't provide them activities and they're just bored, they're going to find something. And sometimes that something is something we don't want. Um, and then you can get a negative feedback loop because now we're mad at them because they did something naughty and they might get punished and then they get mad at us and you just get this bad negative loop. So one of the things we can do is just be aware of it. So for the little guy there, Bailey in the previous picture, that is normally burns off a lot of energy outside playing. Since we're not doing that, I'm doing more training in the house. I'm using it instead of physical activity. We're doing more mental. So a little training. If you have dogs and you need to, um, it doesn't matter their age. They can still learn. They still love to even practice behaviors, sits and downs. If they already know how to do stuff, just do things they already know. But a little mental activity, a little training is like, 5-minute training session is like 20-30 minutes of exercise outside. Okay, you can really burn that much energy off if you can mentally provide mental activities for them. So that can be, just like kids. If they're out, if you have them inside, you got to keep them busy or they'll find stuff to do that you may not want them to do. And they can start building up emotions too. If it's constant stress, like this summer, it's been going on and on and on. It's not just, we usually have a few days, then we get a relief, and then we maybe get another. We usually have maybe 2 weeks of super hot weather in Oregon. And as I said, it started in May and now we're into August, and we barely had a break of cooler weather or normal weather. It has been, high 80s, 90s, and even 3 digit all summer long. And so that takes a huge toll. And that constant stress of the heat is adding, it's providing a lot of anxiety and stress. So, what are emotions? Emotions are just chemicals our body creates to relate to an experience we're having. And so our pets, whether it's our pets or same for humans too, is we build up all these chemicals in our body and we have to process them out. All these emotions we have to process out, just like food calories. We've got to be able to burn them off, and we have to burn off these emotions. And if we can't do that, then they get stored in our body. Just food calories, if we can't burn them off, get stored in our bodies too, right? And so so we need to be able to remove those trapped emotions because it builds up and builds up and builds up. And with a long summer of heat and if you go on vacation now, there's more anxiety. So you might start noticing some either physical or emotional behavioral issues in your pets. And that's because we can tolerate so much trapped emotions, but if there's like this threshold, and if we build up and build up and build up and we exceed it, now we wind up having either physical or behavioral issues, and it can be it can be both. And so that's a good sign that we need to get help remove those trapped emotions because we have an energetic blockage going on. Our system is not in balance. It's not working right. And so we need to work on getting rid of those trapped emotions. And you're lucky because I know how to do that. Okay, I can tap intuitively into your pet, identify the trapped emotions, and release it for them. So we want to be able to do that. Um, the other thing we can do is our own stress. I know I've been very beaten down by this weather, so I'm acting like a radar. My emotions are radiating out, and my pets are picking that up. So we can't help it. They transmit stuff out. I transmit stuff out. We're all constantly acting like little radars, transmitting and receiving emotions, and so they're picking up my worries, my anxiety, my fatigue about the heat, my depression over being hot again. It's hot again. So we need to be aware of that. So it's natural, it's normal. but you might have different anxieties, life anxieties. Our pets definitely pick up our different emotions. I mean, I'm sure you all have had, you know, moments where we break down and cry, or, just have these emotional moments. And usually one of the first ones at our side is our pets, trying to usually make us feel better. They don't totally pick up when we're not feeling ourselves and wanting to comfort us. They have a lot of empathy quite often. And so they pick that up. They want us to make feel better. So there's nothing to feel guilty about. And when we're having these emotions, just be aware that we are also transmitting a lot of these emotions out. And that can be part of this buildup of the trapped emotions. And we just need to clear them out. That's one thing we can do for our pets. What else can we do? Again, training, doing little activity, mental stimulation, just play little games with them. I do put a treat in my hand and hide it, which hand. They'll touch one of the hands and, oh, very good. Anything that can bring a little mental stimulation. I'm doing a lot more brushing with the dogs. It's nice and quiet, but again, it's kind of stimulating them. It's also relaxing. It feels good. We it's relaxing for me too, because it just kind of zens me out as well as them, and that's something we both need, right? So do a little more grooming, but if your pet likes that, I look for things that we both like to do, so that I get some joy out of it and they get some joy. Again, it's instead of the negative feedback loop, we're going into a positive feedback loop, because now they see that I'm enjoying it. So that makes them happy, because they love to be a part of when I'm feeling happy, and I'm happy because they're happy. So now we're keep going, wanting to keep doing that. So look at what we can do that's kind of fun, and a fun activity that helps keep you cool. Um, Another idea is ice cubes. My dogs love ice cubes. Healthy popsicles. Another way to help keep your pet cool is sometimes I freeze baby food or vegetables. Puree some vegetables and put them in ice cube trays, and I let them lick on that, so that helps cool them down a little bit. Um, so just anything that helps keep them cool and happy. That's what I want to do. I also, when I feed my dogs, I put water in their food, and with their yeah, if they make regular meal, I put in a cup or two of water. So right now I'm actually putting a little extra. I want to make sure they're well hydrated. Sometimes when they're too hot, it's too much bother to go to the water, their water bowl. So by giving them plenty of water in their meals, because my guys are pigs, so they're going to eat it down anyway. It really helps that they're pigs. um, but that is one way to make sure they're well hydrated. So think about that. And any ideas, put it in the chat box. What are some of the things you guys do when it's hot for your pets? Let's share ideas, because I'm always open to what else can I do for my guys, because we kind of run out of ideas ourselves with the extended forecast the way it is. So what do I do? I like to breathe. When my animals are in a stress state, the number one thing to do is just breathe. It sounds silly, but we breathe very shallow as a matter of course. We're not conscious of breathing. Good thing, because we die if we had to think about every breath we took. So it's automatic. But when we're on autopilot, we tend not to be um, we don't breathe very deeply, so and fully. So take a few moments and take really full deep breaths. Again, we're transmitting that energy, and that helps calm us down. It lowers our blood pressure. Our pets pick that up. Okay. So I always breathe nice and full. If my animals seem stressed, or if I'm just petting them, I want to take full breaths, because now, again, it's that positive feedback loop versus negative feedback loop. If I'm petting them and I'm anxious and I'm worried about them, I don't want that energy to go into them. So if I'm breathing fully, slowing it down, and I'm thinking about being peace and calm, peaceful, some thoughts of being peace and calm, and I'm just quietly petting them and taking those full breaths, that's going right through my hand into them, and they're feeling that. So they're picking that right up. So again, words matter. You just said, "Oh, I'm so worried about you." No, I don't want to say that. I'm going, "Oh, I want to think of positive stuff. How can I help you? What can I do for you?" Instead of being worried about it, I'm thinking about what action steps I can take. Is there anything I can do for them? If my animals are looking hot, well, can I hose them down? I'm looking at for things that I can do instead of in a worry state. When we're in a worry state, it's like it just you're on the hamster wheel doing nothing but worrying. It doesn't give you anything to do other than radiating out worry, which is not helpful energy. Right? It's does the negative again. It puts us both in a negative feedback loop. And so instead of that, I look for an action step. It's like, well, okay, I am concerned about this pet or this animal. What can I do for them? Is there something I can do for them? So now I'm putting in action set. Well, if maybe nothing else, I'm going to observe them. Instead of worrying about them, I'm just going to keep my eye on them and see, do I need to be concerned enough to call a vet? Is there more I can do for them? What can I do? What is it that I can I give them a hosing down? Can I give them an ice cube? Can I, what can I do? Can I entertain them doing something else for them? What is it? I want to find out what action step I might be able to do, which is way more productive than just go, oh God, I'm so worried about you. Okay. And if nothing else, the one thing I can do that is always very good healing is I just tell them how much I love them. If I'm concerned about them, I just love you so much. you know, you know, as I'm looking into their eyes, that's a great thing to do. That one, because they're more likely to give you eye contact if you're radiating out love. Okay? If you're radiating out stress energy, they're going, oh, I don't know if I want to be around you. There's something scary happening. So they kind of now, of course, they're going to have a different look, and they're going to have a look of worry themselves, like trying to figure out why is there something danger out there because you're worried. But if you're going, oh gosh, I just love you so much, now they're going, oh, right? And so they're more likely to look at you fully in the eye. And if they're not feeling good, that you'll get a better look and see if their eyes are a little more half masked. Like, yeah, I love you too, but I feel like rotten. Or they go, oh, I really feel good too. I love you too. You're going to be able to see a lot in their eyes. So think love to them. So our thoughts, our words matter. And then I like to do full intention with them. If I'm with my pet, I want to be with them. I don't want to just pet them mindlessly. There's times when I do that too. But when I really want to help them, I put everything else down. I put my laptop away. I close that up. I, you know, put my book away. Whatever I'm doing, I'll take a few minutes. I'll stop what I'm doing and just pay attention to them. I give them my full attention, uh, again, share my love for them. I look them in the eye. I smile, and I'm just fully engaging with them. And guess what? Not only are you helping your pet feeling better about themselves, feeling less anxious and feeling seen and heard. Who doesn't want to feel that? But it works for us too. It's like getting a dose of an anti-anxiety and antidepressant medication ourselves. you know, just taking those few moments. Again, we're pouring these really beautiful high frequency chemicals into our bodies that is so much better than the worrying about the meeting that we have to get onto Zoom for, or whatever else our to-do list has us being busy and trying to keep up with. Just taking those couple minutes and just being fully intentional with your pet is good for them and it's good for you. It's a win-win. So I highly encourage do that 3 times a day at least. The more you do it, the healthier it is for them, and definitely is way healthier for you. And the more, if you are in a highly anxiety or depressed state, truly, truly, you do that with your pet, you're truly getting an, a natural, your own body is providing the chemicals that is an antidepressant and anti-anxiety medication. It's your body, your natural healing abilities kicking in, and it's very powerful. All right, so with that, we'll get to questions in a second. Um, if you have in need of service, my quick cleanse package is a really great one that I refer most people to with pets. Their attention span isn't that long. So we can accomplish a lot in 15 minutes, especially if you've already worked with me once. Then if I already know the history, then the 15-minute is totally perfect for getting in, clearing, like I said, get rid of those trapped emotions that's built up and exceeded that threshold. Let's get rid of them. Then I communicate with them if they're having a behavioral issue, we can communicate with them about what we do want. Again, words matter. And if they have anything that they want us to know, then hopefully I pick that up and can translate that for you. And these 15-minute packages really help, especially they're great for our elder pets. That becomes more palliative care. We may not be able to totally mm, fix issues 100%, but we can definitely help them feel a little less achy, um, and a little have a little more freedom of movement. And but then it usually builds up if they have arthritis and other things. It doesn't remove the arthritis, but it does give them more room for mobility and feeling a little bit better. So for our elder parent pets, that can be really beneficial. These 15-minute sessions. That also, it's not on the slide, but you might want to check out if you're going out of town. I do a virtual pet sitting service, which is nice for folks that worry about their pets and they know that their pets have anxiety when you're gone. I communicate several times while you're gone, depending on the pet. The deal is for 1 week, but so if you're gone a weekend, I try and tap in every day. If you're gone for a week, I usually tap in about 3 times, depending on what their needs are, what their level of anxiety is. But I tap in again and release any trapped emotions, anxiety that they may be having. Let them know that you're coming back to them. I don't, if depending again how long you're gone, if it's too soon, too early, and when they're gone, well, if you're gone a week, if I do it second day you're gone, that's a little bit too much time to tell how many nighttime sleeps until they come home. About the day or two before, that's when I start telling them that when you're coming home, two nighttime sleeps, one nighttime sleep. That helps them know that you're coming home. And if you want, I can do text or email messages to you, letting you know what I've cleared and what if they've communicated anything to me. Some people like that, and some people don't want to know. No news is good news. Whatever you want, that's fine. And so you also get a 15-minute phone session ahead of time. I do ask you to book it if you can a week ahead, week or two ahead, so that we have time for that 15-minute phone session. So I know specifically what kind of behavioral issues, your anxiety your pet might have while you go out of town, so I can really focus on that and work with them to help mitigate that. May not remove it all the way, but most people find that when they get home, their pet is a lot less anxious and upset um, than uh, if you do nothing. So you might check out that virtual pet sitting service if you're going out of town. All right. Well, future events. So this Saturday, I'm going to have a healing circle. There's no charge for the healing circles. It's all free, and uh, donations are welcome afterwards, but not necessary. And then on August 11th, Wednesday night, so that's next Wednesday, next Wednesday, I have my Interpreting the Subconscious class, and that one there is a fee of $25. And we go in and we work on how to interpret messages from your dreams, whatever your subconscious is telling you through dreams, through meditations, through signs that in nature, as you're walking about, you might get signs, and you might want to learn how to interpret what all that is. If we do exercises, I usually do a fun little exercise of some sort that brings out your subconscious and show you how to interpret it. So it's a lot of hands-on, and you don't have to attend any of the previous classes. I gear each class to be independent of and for its own night, so you can just hop in anytime you want. So no previous uh, experience necessary. And then we have some more healing circles. And then on August 18th, we have the human version of a webinar. So we get into anxiety and fears and how we can work with that and how to calm our lizard brain down. All righty. So with that, I'm going to exit out of stop sharing and see if you have any questions. And let's see. So So here we got some ideas. Great. Tammy wrote, I give my grand dog ice water when he's outside in hot weather. Good. Yeah, my guys love ice cubes. So if I have ice cubes, I don't have any ice. My freezers are full, so I don't get ice cubes very often. But they love ice cubes, and I love to put them in their water bowl or something, or take them outside in their swimming pool, and they die for it. Their little bubbles come up. They die for their ice cubes. Um, and Terry wrote, she has cooling mats in their beds. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's been hot in Southern California. Yeah, if you have a name of what cooling mats or where you've gotten them from, that would be helpful for folks. And then also she leaves healing Reiki frequencies on. I don't like them to be in complete silence if I leave the house. Yeah, that's nice. So those are great ideas, both of you. Great. Yeah, anything that helps keep them cool. My fan is going right behind me. It's not pointed at me. It's pointed at the dogs. So that and that if Yogi sleeps in the house, he usually sleeps by the door right there. So I leave that on for him usually all night long if he's in the house, so he can help him. He's a big guy, so he has a lot of hair, poor guy. So I try and do everything I can to help keep him cool. Let's see. So Terry wrote she went on Amazon and searched specifically for animal cooling mats. They're all kinds. So there you go. Check out. Probably Chewy's might have them too. Chewy.com. You might check out that. Like that is sometimes a good source for pet supplies as well. So great ideas. I might check those out. I might put it in my own bed. I wonder if I could do that. Because I get hot. Oh, I bought it from a dog. Yeah. Yeah, right. They steal my stuff. Why can't I steal theirs? All right. Any other questions? If not, oh, they have them for us too. Well, they're usually stealing my bed, so I might as well steal theirs. All right. Let's see. I have some pictures. Let's see. Michelle, are you on? Yes. Okay. Hi, Michelle. I'm giving you permission to talk. While I get your picture. Are you there, Michelle?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can.
Good.
And here is Holly. Let me share my
Oh,
screen of Holly.
uh, yeah. Um, that's her.
All righty. So Holly is having some what kind of issues can you share a little bit with the
Well,
others?
the
What's going on?
continuing saga. I took her to with the peeing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, took her to the doctor, and he said no UTI. He said probably behavioral. He put her on Prozac. That does not go well. She foams it right out of her mouth. She
Oh.
does not care for it. But a couple of weeks ago, I had people over, and we were playing a game at the table, and there was a spare chair sitting there. And she got up on the chair and peed on it right in front of all of us.
Oh, that's
It's like, what? I just couldn't believe that she did that.
yeah. Well,
That
that
was,
is, that is a sign that somebody isn't happy.
yeah, I mean, I have 3 litter boxes. She goes outside of the one sometimes, and then even the one upstairs, I saw now she's got. Luckily, I have like garbage bags under, so she doesn't get the carpet and everything in the pad. She's gone outside of that one, just right outside of the litter box, and
Okay.
but to get up on the chair and pee, right, and we're all sitting there, and she just starts peeing on a cushion chair, kitchen chair.
Okay. So, well, let's see what we can clear for her. Um, my computer just locked up. Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because my computer just locked up. All right. Let's see what we can do. Oh, okay. I just had night shift without just as I tapped in. So she definitely had some stuff. uh, stored in her back area, went right down almost her, like in the center of her spine, and went in a big release. Let's see. Hmm. So I got lack of control, so I'm going to release that. Peeved, so she's a little miffed. Hmm. Has something changed in you? When, well, I know this has been an issue that comes and goes, but is there something within the last few weeks since this last episode started? Has there been some change that's happened?
Well, I don't know if it's not with her. My mom, you worked on my mom and with
Mhm.
her broken back and everything, but she's all of a sudden developed some severe kidney issues and she was in the hospital and just got home last weekend. Um, had a stent put in her kidney, but I don't, I'm not sure how much that affect. Well, it probably does because it affects me because I, had to take her to ER.
Okay.
So, but as far as her personally with, Roy, she's, sane.
Okay.
Right now she
Well,
could be peeved 'cause I was just brushing her and she was mad because, she has mats and she gets mad at me for that. Maybe that's what
okay.
she's upset.
Sometimes that
I gave
feels
her a little bit of
uncomfortable.
pardon?
Sometimes, well, the mats can be uncomfortable, and that can cause some stress and anxiety from discomfort.
I gave her a little rescue remedy. Before I did that, but she still,
Yeah.
gets mad. But I was trying to cut them out and stuff because her hair is just so long and it gets
Yeah.
matted so easily.
Yeah. So that can be
Yeah,
when
she was growling at me.
that could be why she put out peeved. So release that. So that's good. Um, let's see what else. But I think it had, when we have that level of stress of worrying about your mom being sick and not well and in the hospital, again, we're transmitting all that out, and that energy is going out, and they're picking it up, and they can be confused by it. They don't know why we're so worried about something. And again, if your mom was living with you and all of a sudden gone, that's a change, and we don't understand why is this person gone. And if she's bonded with your mom, that could be, you know, uh, again, a worry.
Really. Not her.
Well, even still, it's just the change. They don't like change to their routine, and all of a sudden that's a change, and they definitely pick up there's something not right because you're an extra worried about something, right? Um, so just release a little anxiety. I kept hearing confusion, so releasing confusion on that. And that was a peeved. I think the peeved was a big one. Anything else? Overwhelm. Let me see. Overwhelm. Oh, there we go. And I just felt a nice release in her neck. Oh, and another one in her neck. Whew. So if their body has discomfort, they'll sometimes um, they will want to well, between the mats and maybe the discomfort of trapped emotions, just making her arthritis kind of making her not feel good, they want her attention. And one way for her tell to let you know that there's something not right, I need help, is to pee. And then uh, she really going to get your attention if you have company over and pee on her chair, right?
Yeah, I just couldn't. I was just in shock.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you hear me now?
It's bad enough. It's bad
It's
enough she's ruining my hardwood floor, and I'm
right.
still trying to get my house ready for selling and but on the chair now too, it's like, oh my gosh, where else is she gonna,
So in the past, when we've cleared, she improved, right? The peeing
yeah.
kind of stopped, right? And so
Hmm.
it's what's this is what's happening is she again it's that think of that threshold we get it below that threshold, and she stops peeing because she feels better. And then, trapped emotions happen, and now we're building up. Maybe we get over the threshold a little bit. Oh, I don't feel good. I'm going to pee a little bit. And then maybe she kind of gets over it and it might drop down, and then goes back up, and it goes down and goes up until it really goes up. Now, it's like, are you hearing me now? I could use a little help here. So if that's her tell that she needs help. So the quicker we clear stuff, we want to get it under that threshold and keep it under it. So it's just a sign that we need to clear those trapped emotions. Because again, good, you went and took her to a vet, made sure that there's no um, physiological thing that's causing, no kidney issue, no bladder infections, nothing like that. Um, Generally speaking, keep it at that. It's not a hard, fast rule, but a lot of times if it's a physiological thing, um, they pee right outside the litter box. They're trying to get there, but they miss. If it's a behavioral issue, it's like on the chair, in your shoe, someplace, and they usually want to make sure you see it. So,
Well, the thing is, he did not check her for kidney. Um, I was kind of surprised because I have, he did make a comment, well, she is getting close to 15, and usually renal failure is one of the
so no blood
things that,
test on that,
no,
or
no,
you're
wondering, but she's not had any blood or anything, or, I don't know, but
okay.
I'm
Well, let me
wondering.
again. Let me see. Again, I don't diagnose, but um, well, as a matter of course, let's just balance her kidneys. So let me clear and balance the left kidney first. And now the right kidney, I'm going to balance that one. Okay, so I rebalance the kidneys. See if that doesn't help. That doesn't hurt just to rebalance everything. So see how she does. Again, let's see if it stops it, great. But if she pees again, we need to clear more, really as fast as we can, because it means we're right at that threshold.
I Googled, they were saying, well, put some essential oils around that they don't like
Hmm,
um,
I would do the
peppermint or whatever. And I'm
opposite.
afraid if I do that around the litter box, then she won't use it at all because she
Yeah,
won't
no, no,
want
no.
to go.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I would do the opposite. Actually, you might check out Animal EO. I'll put it in the chat box here if you want to look at essential oils. Oh, why did you do that? Oh, hang on. I want to make this to everybody. Okay, www.animaleo.info is their website. Check their website out. They have one for cats called Kitty Boost. I'll write that down too. And that one, that can just kind of help. It's kind of a one good for all type of thing. That's pretty much what they suggest using for pretty much any issue that a cat has. And they have a very good website that talks about different things. But I wouldn't use stuff. I mean, you can use the peppermint on your chair, places you don't
Yes,
want her to,
exactly.
but not anywhere near the litter box. Absolutely not. But even that, it can actually do the opposite because it's a negative, and that causes stress because it stinks and we don't like that. And that can make her angry. And now she's going to. So I would rather do something that helps her feel better, that keeps her calmer, because it is something she gets upset about stuff, and it builds up and builds up and builds up. So we don't want to do things that builds up more negative. We want to build up more things that help her feel content. So the Kitty Boost helps her feel more content, and that helps keep you under that threshold. So check
Great.
out that as opposed to something, again, unless they're peeing on something like your shoes all the time, then I might use a negative type of a thing. But I would go more for the Kitty Boost thing first. Try that. So thank you for that, sharing. Okay, so Laura, I gave you permission to talk, I think.
Yeah, hey Cindy.
There you are. Hi. And I have your kitties here. Let me share. Oh, I can't see my share screen. Oop, here they are. Oops, here they are. So who did you want checked in with? These are Ansel and Lamont.
Yeah. So I've been there's been vomit in the dining room almost every day for a while, and I thought it was Ansel, the black and white one. And I saw him throw up, so I took him to the vet, and I then looked over and had just complete blood work done, and everything was a-okay. And Lamond, I've never seen throw up anything despite all that long fur. So I'm just wondering, and Galen, the one in back, you can't see, but it's a redhead. He can't jump on the dining room table anymore. Yesterday, I think yesterday, there was vomit on the dining room table. So it definitely wasn't Galen, and it's one of these two. So the vet's not finding anything. Behavior is normal. And I'm just wondering what might be going on that
Okay.
we can help with.
Let's see. Let's start with Ansel. I'm kind of hearing from him. Okay. So I asked Ansel if it was him, and he said no.
Oh, okay.
And then I asked Lamont, is it you? And he said yes.
Really? Okay. All right.
I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. So okay. So let's try Lamont. So I asked if he need clearing, and he said yes, please. What do you want cleared? Helplessness, clearing that. There we go. I felt a shift in his back. Little nervousness, clearing that. Some anxiety, clearing that. Oh, he might be picking up a little of your angst. Clear that. Do you use enzymes at all, like a probiotic?
Mm-mm.
Something to talk to your vets about, or use a holistic vet at all? That might help with tummy
Okay.
issues.
Okay.
I know from my guys, again, I have barn cats, so it's a little different for them, but for my dogs, especially if they get tummy issues, they quick give them a extra little enzyme in their meal. That seems to help get some more probiotics in them. And I do that for a week or two, and that seems to calm things down. And with heat, again, change in temperature, that's a good time that they get tummy issues sometimes. Which really mess with their digestion. Because again, it's anxiety. That heat, it could cause extra anxiety. With that extra anxiety, that is fear when we're in a more anxious state. Our fight or flight response system is taking over, which means the digestive system gets turned down to minimal. And we get tummy issues. So if they're a little more in a little more anxious state, again, who knows why your cats, if everything seems to be normal, again, it can just be building up, and it can be very slow and subtle build up. It doesn't have to be some major event. It can, but if it isn't, a lot of times, I mean, I don't notice it. I just have my normal daily stress. Even with this heat, it was like no big deal. But now that it's been going on for almost 3 months, I'm feeling it. It's harder for me to clear things and get myself rebalanced. It's taking more time and energy. So I'm over that threshold. It
Yeah.
was very slow and subtle until finally, it's like yesterday, it really hit me hard. And I was like, oh, I can't, blah, blah, blah. I was crabbing and everything. And I had to spend a lot of extra time really doing some extra self care and meditation and long shower, trying to wash it all off and using all the tools that I teach to get me under that threshold. But I can tell I'm right there. I'm very close. So so but it was just nothing specific. It's just that very slow day-to-day stuff that it just builds up. And so we just need to clear. And then with the interaction between everybody with the other cats, then they feed off of each other into a negative feedback loop, because if one is off, then the other either takes advantage and they get mad at each other, irritated, and just or anxious and worried about each other. If they're close, they can just be, oh, somebody's not feeling good, and worry about them, and now they feed off of each other that way. So and we can actually have a household out of balance. I've seen that with people with pets where the whole household gets out of balance. And what I want to do is then do a whole household session in which I tap into all of you kind of. Usually one of your animals comes out and is the lead voice in it. And it's very fun and very fascinating because they guide me in knowing what is the collective. We talk about the collective in the class, right, Laura? And you have a collective energy, and oh, I'm getting the chills. So I'm on the right path here. You have a collective imbalance in your house.
Okay.
And so we would want to clear that collective imbalance. And usually one of the animals guides me in figuring out, and it's usually just a few emotions that is causing the imbalance, but I clear it again, almost like the healing circle, where we have to clear the collective emotions that are out of balance, that are clogging your energy in the whole household, and then rebalance and retune your whole household. So
Okay.
so something to think about, because that's what I'm getting is there's a household imbalance.
Well, also what's happening is that Galen is getting older, and he's and it's showing more just in his
Mhm.
ability to jump, and he has a little bit less confidence. And Ansel, the smallest of them, has the most confidence, and Lamond is the shyest. So, but Ansel likes to play with Lamond. Lamond may not like it, but he does play. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So if one's energy is shifting as he gets older and can't do as much, your dynamics are shifting and changing. Your roles change. The roles of the
Right.
change. So I think that's what we're picking up is that think of a mobile. If something is changing, everything wants to get into equilibrium to maintain it. But if something is going off, then other things are trying to adjust to that imbalance and change. And so they're probably picking up that, there's changes are happening in your routine, in your abilities, in their roles. They can
Yeah.
change roles then. I've seen it with my livestock guardian dogs when he got old, when I had my other one and he got older, their roles started shifting and changing and their dynamics. And when he passed, then again, everything changes. I've seen it with the alpacas many times when one has either when I've sold somebody and they leave, they have to readjust. Everything
Right.
readjusts because of that change in imbalance. Or when you have a guest coming in or leaving, like in Michelle, when her mom left, that was an imbalance and it needed a change. And so then Holly was couldn't adjust and there was a lot of confusion from it. And so her result comes out in peeing. Your cats are coming out by vomiting and handling that stress.
So which of your packages could I sign up for to have the
Uh,
collective?
probably you could either do I don't know if we need the full 45 minutes. It probably would take about a half hour. I would do the starter package and
Okay.
I'll work with you. So if we only use a half hour, then you use the 50, you'd have 2 15 minutes instead of one.
Okay, great.
So we make it work, but if we need, that way, if we need the full 45 minutes, we have it. But it probably would take about a half hour to do it all. I don't know if I could do it in the 15 minutes. So I would do the,
That's fine because it would be good anyhow for Galen, the redhead in the back, since he's getting older. Maybe that would help with his arthritis and stuff to
right,
use.
right. And then I can focus on him and just clear him and rebalance his energy on his own individually, as well
Yeah.
as and adjust the whole household. And again, I'm getting the chills. So we're definitely on the right path to help him.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. Thank you. That's always interesting when we get something a little different. Let's see. So I have another one. We got enough time here for Francine sent, or Terry sent in Francine. So let's do that. Terry, are you there? Let's see if I, oops, I shouldn't have shared yet. I have to turn Terry on. Hang on, sorry. Got ahead of myself. Terry, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Cindy.
Hi. Now I can share Francine. So you got yourself a new guy, a new
Well,
girl.
Francine is my son's dog, and one of my son's dog. He has 7 other pups. And I was house and pup sitting on Saturday, and she was just not herself. And you're so right about the weather and all of that stuff going on. They were bored and they were in the house all day. And at the end of the day, they all went out. And Francine was playing with another pup, but kind of growling too. And 3 of his dogs just turned on her and brutally. Like, to me, I thought she was gonna die.
Mm.
I ran, I got the hose. By the time I got the hose, she had gotten away and was running towards me. And I got her in the house real quick. So, long story short, I discovered a hot spot on her. And I also, I did what I could as far as cleaning the wound and calming her down and sending her Reiki and, everything that I could think of. And Sunday I couldn't leave. But Monday she came here after a vet visit. They put her on antibiotics, anti-inflammatory, everything I hoped for, they did. So now she's here with me. She's the big dog now, in my house, because my other pups are all under 20 pounds. And she weighed in at 43, and she's doing great, I think. Now, I have 28 cats. That's been a little challenging. Most of them are accepting of her, but when they're not, she doesn't know how to react. So I've been trying to tell her, just take one day at a time, one cat at a time. And I really just don't want her to go back to my son's house either. I don't think it's a good fit. His other dogs are pack dogs, huskies. She's just not having it anymore.
Mhm.
So I was just hoping you could help her release whatever
Okay.
and let her be calm here and know that she's loved and she doesn't have to go back to that anymore.
Okay. And hot spots quite often appear from stress. So
Yes, that's what I thought too.
so we can clear some anxiety out, because we definitely have anxiety and confusion. Overwhelm, clearing that. Unsupported, clearing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Worthless, clearing that. And there's a nice little shift in energy. So that helped with that. Helplessness, clearing that. good. Let's see. So I asked her if she had anything else right at the moment. She said no. Okay. So do you use thieves at all, Carrie? The
What
essential
is
oil, the essential
Oh,
oil thieves?
I do have essential oils, yes. I get them
Oh,
from their Egyptian animal safe. The lady that I get them from has a ranch of horses and she uses them in her barn and or stables
okay.
and
Well, there's
in her
one
home.
that I use specifically for my. This is what I use on my guys.
Okay,
Uh,
I'm writing
on my
down.
dogs, I had one that would get hot spots when he would get stressed, and actually he was also allergic to fleas, so he would get hot spots, and he was very OCD, so then it
Oh,
became an issue. But what calmed it down, and then Moosey had skin issues. What seemed to help calm some of that down was I would mix and I dilute it heavily because it's a hot
okay.
oil, but I use thieves, which is it's a good kind of an antiseptic kind of
Like thick as thieves, like
Yep, yep.
thieves.
It's a blend. It's kind of an
Okay,
interesting story behind the name of it. It's like the
got it.
same blend that they use that the gypsies used during the plague, and they would douse themselves with
Wow.
this, and they wouldn't get sick because the fleas didn't like the thieves. And
Wow.
so they would go in and rob the dead, or and help remove the dead too. Um, so um,
Okay,
anyway, that's how they get the name, and so they use that blend. And anyway, I dilute it heavily because it's a hot oil, and then I just
okay.
put a cool compress, and I use a washcloth, and I just kind of dab it on the hot spot, and
Love it.
it
Okay.
calms it down, even though it's a hot oil, and if you make it too hot, it stings. So that's why
I
I dilute
understand.
it heavily, and I just use like lukewarm, air temperature,
Mhm.
and then washcloth, and I just dab it on there. They typically and they don't like the taste of it, so then they are less likely to lick it because it's got a pretty strong taste. But I've used it on, I have a farm, and so I get boo-boos all the time. And if I get something that looks like it's going to get infected, I soak it, or do the same thing on me. And usually, with one, the discomfort goes away almost immediately,
Wow.
and the infection goes away within a day or two. I might have to
Wow.
treat myself
Okay.
twice. So I do that, a couple times a day. If I see them picking at it, then I just kind of do another compress on the spot, and that really heals it very fast. I've used it on my alpacas. I've used it on my dogs. I have not tried it. I don't use it on my cats because I don't know if that's a safe oil for my cats. So I do not use it on
Okay.
cats, but I do use it on my dogs.
Yeah,
For
this
cats,
is
then I
this
go
is
to
good.
Animal EO and find something that's safe for the cats
Yeah,
there.
that's great. I never knew about that website.
So that I don't get the thieves through Animal EO. I get that from Young Living is who carries that one. But
Oh,
you can see
okay.
you can look and see what's the
I can
ingredients and see if
Google
you
it.
find in a similar oil, because I'm sure you might
Mhm.
find something that's similar. But that's what I use for on my animals. That has worked
Thank
nicely.
you.
And again, I use what my vets also give me, but I have found, because they used to give me these sprays and stuff, and I just that supposedly doesn't my dogs wouldn't lick off, but they licked them right off.
Yeah, right.
I didn't have very good success with some of the stuff that they gave me, and then I thought, well, I'm going to try this, and I had really nice success in calming it down, the hot spots, and healing it much faster too. So you might
Yeah,
check
I've
that out
never seen
for her.
this kind of hot spot before.
So yeah,
It's
with Wiley,
really
we used to get hot spots about once a year
mhm.
um, until I learned how emotion code actually, and they could start releasing the trapped emotions on him, and then he didn't get them anymore. But with
Wow.
Lucy, he had skin allergies, and so I use the compresses on him. And then again, I have a couple alpacas that have skin issues and get mites and things. So I apply a different concoction for them because they don't lick stuff off, so I don't have to worry about that. But for the dogs, I just use a compress with warm water and
Okay.
dilute it heavily. So it's enough to get in there to help kind of clear it
Heal
up
it.
and help dry it up. And then it's soothing. It actually calms the pain. And again, I've used it on myself, so I know that it stops hurting.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
so you can check that out. All right.
That's helpful. Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Alrighty, so we're a little past the top of the hour. I'm going to stop the recording.